Hi everyone, I've stepped out of the studio for a quick video and to share an important message with you. Earlier this morning I was in the gym and I looked up at the TV and there was the worst Prime Minister in Australian history standing in the sun trying to look like a statesman with the Opera House in the background urging Australians to vote yes to The Voice. Folks, I can also stand in the sun in front of a landmark and urge you to do something as well, but I'm not going to do that because I know that you're a sovereign person that can think for themselves and to make up their own mind about what's right for them and what it is that they want to do. Let me lay out a quick case for you folks about why you should ignore everything, absolutely everything, every politician in the Australian government tells you to do, including voting yes to The Voice. But before I do that, you might be asking, who cares, Rob? Who cares? Well, you should care, because the fools that have been in charge for the past few years are responsible for the destruction of our way of life. Do you care that it costs you $60 for 2 bags of groceries from Woolies, or that it costs you 2 to 3 times as much to fill up your car as it did a few years ago? If you care about everyday things like that, then you need to start speaking up. If you don't speak up, if you don't say something and do something, you're going to remain in the silent majority and you're going to be railroaded by these idiots on the left that are hell-bent on the destruction of our way of life and the prosperity that we've all shed so much for. In the past 3 years, we've had nothing but lies from politicians. They lied to us about COVID, they lied to us about masks, they lied to us about experimental procedures that were going to be safe for you and that would prevent transmission. It was all a lie. Albo, most recently, lied to you about your power bill, and the list goes on. Now, plenty of people will tell you that COVID was all a big conspiracy to some other end, and that may be true, but my view is that the people that were in charge at the time were just incompetent morons. And the people that are now currently in charge just went along with it. So they're just as much to blame. You know what, folks? Even still to this day, we haven't even seen the health advice that shut down our country. The technocrats in the health department pretended like they knew better than us. They urged us all to comply with their threats. And they urged us to report on our neighbours like in Stasi, East Germany. Otherwise, we'd be segregated from society and thrown into the gulag for a tenner. The government definitely succeeded in segregating us, right? Remember that? We were divided into the haves and the have-nots. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm faced with a choice of having nothing or doing what the health minister tells me to do, I'll pick nothing every single time. These people are incompetent fools that lied to us. Now, for whatever reason, people have short memories and they seem to have forgotten about being locked in their homes, not being able to see their families, and believing everything that a politician says is true. It's a bad memory, and I get it. I want to forget about it as well. But we can't, and we shouldn't, and we definitely shouldn't be letting this go. The new Labor government promised us an inquiry into the handling of COVID, but we've yet to see any detail related to that or a timing. They seem to think that we're all going to shut up and eventually just go away. Remember, we had a royal commission into pink bats, into robo-debt, and many other government stuff-ups. But there's complete silence, total silence. And that silence is absolutely deafening on the biggest disaster in Australian history. The self-inflicted wounds of Australian politicians are what is responsible for high prices that we continue to pay today. The cost of living is completely out of control because of the fool at the Reserve Bank and all of his money printing. Inflation is only caused by one thing in an economy, and that's there's too much money printing. And the government knows that. They knew that. A couple of weeks ago, they threw that guy under the bus. They knew it. Petrol prices are at an all-time high, so they can tax you into oblivion. And your electricity prices are about to go up another 20 to 30%, which is going to destroy more small businesses than COVID did. What we're witnessing, folks, and what we're living through is the systematic destruction of our society by incompetent fools on the left that should never, ever be listened to. What makes all of those lying politicians even worse is they're now asking you to vote yes to a voice to Parliament, but no one knows what any of it means. They're asking you to vote for something, whatever that something is, and if enough people do say yes, they'll work out the details later. The point is, the government's asking you to vote for something that hasn't been figured out. Not even the government knows how the voice is going to work. They've said that that's all going to be worked out once the yes vote is in. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. Why would you ever say yes to something when you have no idea what you're saying yes to? It's total madness. Now, on top of all of that, why would you say yes to segregating a society? Why would you do that? Why do some people get a voice and others don't? What about the 10-pound POMs that came to Australia? Can they have a voice? What about veterans? Can we have a voice too? Where do we draw the line on this absolute stupidity? The left will have you think that all of this is in the name of inclusion, but it's my view that they're attempting to divide us along the lines of race. So I ask you, who is more important? Who is it? Is it Asian immigrants? European ones? What about the people that built the Snowy Hydro? Are they entitled to a voice too? What about the unions, for heaven's sake? Shouldn't they have a voice? The Labor government is spending $364 million of your taxpayer dollars on this referendum in an attempt to divide society and to have people that look different to me and have a different skin color to me to have a voice that's more important than mine. What about my contributions to Australia? Have they all been forgotten about? Are they worthless because I'm the wrong color? None of it makes any sense. What about your contributions? Have they been forgotten about as well? Let me sum up, folks, by saying this. All politicians lie. The Prime Minister has lied to you about something as small as energy prices, and he's now trying to divide us all. He's dividing all of us on the issue of skin and race. The Labor government is deliberately dividing Australia along the lines of race, when the race they're all pretending to care about is less than 4% of the Australian population. Now, I don't know about you, but I'll never ever do anything that an Australian politician ever says ever again. They're all liars and they just can't be trusted to do what it is that they say they'll do. They can't keep an election promise, they can't manage an economy, and now they seek to divide us by race. What makes you think that if you vote yes and it gets up, that they'll do the right thing by all of us when it comes to the voice? How can you believe what it is that they say? If you vote yes to the voice, you're putting your hand up and making a declaration that you're a lesser citizen because you're not part of the right minority group. Have some self-respect. No person, regardless of race, is any more important than any other. You'll be judged by your character and your contribution to society, not by what you look like or where the hell you're from. None of that matters. It's irrelevant. Whatever you do, folks, don't listen to these lying politicians.